welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Buds. This week we're going to be reviewing the ultimate tater bottle, Blanton's. Nick, would you care to give us a brief history on that?
Sure. So Blanton's was conceived in 1984 by former master distiller Elmer T. Lee, and he recalled his time under Colonel Albert Blanton, the former president of the distillery, and he would often handpick honey barrels from the center of Warehouse H, which we'll get to in a bit. And he would bottle these barrels one at a time and would hand them out to distinguished guests. Now, Warehouse H is special because it is the first metal warehouse to ever be built. And he discovered that because of the thinner walls of this warehouse, the temperature inside the warehouse was able to change to the temperature outside of the warehouse. Like they were able to be close to the same temperature. So Zach, with that, would you like to try it?
Well, first I'm going to tell my story of
That's right.
kind of the sentimental value that I have with this bottle in particular. So it's not because of the taste, but this is the first bottle that kind of got me into bourbon. This is the first allocated bottle I ever bought. So when I took a tour of Buffalo Trace, I wasn't exactly familiar with the history on the bottle, but I thought it looked cool because, probably the coolest bottle shaped in whiskey. But after doing more research, I just kind of really enjoyed the history and the art behind it and the science. And it led me down to the rabbit hole of being a hardcore bourbon enthusiast today.
And because of that, he also got me into bourbon, which is why we're doing what we're doing today.
Yeah. So you ready to try it, Nick?
Officially, yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think immediately it's like I get a lot of butterscotch off of it more than anything else.
Yeah, and if you, this could just be me. The closer your nose gets, you could probably smell a little bit of vanilla alongside, or not vanilla, excuse me, but caramel alongside butterscotch, and a little bit, a hint of vanilla. Is that something you get, or is that on my mind just?
Yeah, that and a little bit of oak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You ready to try it?
Yeah.
What do you think, Nick?
You can get flavor. All right, folks, you're probably not going to like this, but you can get it. It shows so much promise in the first couple of seconds of flavor. Like, this is my first time officially trying Blanton's, and my face went from, oh, this is pretty good, to, oh. Because 2 seconds after you get that delicious influx of flavor, it just falls flat on its face.
I agree. I mean, at the very front of the first initial taste on the palate, it's very flavorful, very a lot of butterscotch. The finish falls flat. It's like almost after you drink it, it's like, did I just drink bourbon? Like, I mean, it's really good, but it's good. It's just the finish hurts it really bad, and that could be because it's a lower proof too. So
yes, and let's talk about chill filtration because that's an important factor for this.
Yeah, it is. They used to not do this when it first came out. The chill filtration.
Oh, did they not?
No. So for those of you who don't know, chill filtration means they lower the temperature on the bourbon. And what it does is it strips some of the fats and the oils out of the whiskey, so that way it stops it from being cloudy. Because if it gets cloudy, the bourbon's really no good at that point. Mm-hmm. So it's for a quality thing. It's kind of like bourbon chemo, if you hit, because it's for a good thing, but it's got some bad side effects to it as well. It takes out a lot of the flavor, even though it's necessary in some cases.
Right, and you know what? Despite my personal opinion on this bourbon, our personal opinion, I cannot help but respect what Blanton's is doing and has been doing for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Or 40 years, excuse me.
The story behind it's really cool.
Yeah, and if you think about like this bourbon, Colonel Albert Blanton pretty much pioneered how bourbon is made today.
Single barrels.
Yeah, in terms of single barrels.
So Nick, what do you think about like the overall price for the availability? Like, what do you think about it?
It's not okay. So there's two different ways you can get it. You can get it at the distillery, and you can get it on second. And of course, you can get it on secondary.
Or mainly a gift liquor store.
Gift
They're very, very low.
Yes, and typically at the distillery it goes for $66, and on secondary it goes for $100. Personally, I don't think it's worth either of those prices.
I don't either. I mean, not that it's bad. It's just, to me, it's a $30 to $40 bourbon.
Right,
in my
yeah.
opinion. I mean, you're really paying for the bottle, the story, and the fact it's an allocated Buffalo Trace product.
And you know you can flip this bottle and sell it for a somewhat decent profit. You know, it's money in your pocket. But other than that, I just it's not worth the price.
No, it's pretty average in my opinion.
I respect what it's doing, but compared to other single barrels you can get on the market that are more readily available, and that's another thing. You can get better single barrel bourbons that are more readily available, like let's say Four Roses. But I don't like.
Yeah, it's pretty average.
Yeah, it's got promise, but then it just falls flat on its face.
Well, this concludes this week's episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and click on the bell icon to receive a notification anytime we upload. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and send us an email in the description below.